Hi students, we're going to continue learning about the history of Kannapolis. We're going to start by connecting the content. Could you imagine being separated in schools because of the color of your skin? I couldn't either. This is the way it used to be though. If you were different of race, you would go to different schools. There were white schools and there were also African American schools. Students, today you'll be able to explain how a person's values have affected the development of Kannapolis. So this is what the schools look like. In Kannapolis, schools were segregated. Mr. Cannon had a school built for the workers' children. They only went about 4 months out of the year. In the early days, early educational opportunities in Kannapolis were limited for students of color. So prior to 1923, Black students attended schools operated in local churches. A school was finished in 1924 for Black students and named after the well-known Black African-American teacher and inventor, George Washington Carver. So this is the high school that African-American students went to from 1936 to 1967. Okay, I'm sure that some of your grandparents and maybe your parents even remember this time, so make sure you ask them about it. So schools today. So now the high school in Kannapolis is called, there's only one, and it's called A.L. Brown High School. So Alfred Luther Brown, he was the vice president and general manager of the Cannon Mills Company. In 1941, he was selected by many people from Kannapolis as the city's man of the year because of his important leadership throughout the city. On December 19th, 1955, he was driving to the Cannon Mills Central Office building and accidentally drove his car into the lake that stood in front of the building. He did not survive this, and that's when the school, in honor of Alfred Luther, they renamed the school to A.L. Brown High School. In 1967, George Washington Carver High School, Kannapolis' former high school for African Americans, merged with the then all-white A.L. Brown High School. So both the schools went together now, and all of the students were now together in school in 1967. These are the different middle and elementary schools here in our town. There is Kannapolis Middle School, Forest Park Elementary, Fred L. Wilson Elementary, G.W. Carver Elementary, Jackson Park Elementary, North Kannapolis Elementary, and Shady Brook Elementary. Why are the schools in Kannapolis named after certain famous historical figures? And it's because the city wants to honor the people whose values helped to change history. So A.L. Brown valued helping people in our city, where George Washington Carver, he valued teaching students and inventing ways for people to grow their own food. There was a new name change in our school district recently. Brock Morgan, one of our teacher's students, started a petition to change the name of Woodrow Wilson Elementary School to North Kannapolis Elementary School because Wilson did not support people of color and their right to vote. Brock values equal rights for all people. So we're going to watch a video about this. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. This was a news video, so let's watch it.
Did you know more than 50,000 students apply for traditional medical schools each year? Unfortunately,
another push to change the name of a Charlotte area school. Just days ago, a 15-year-old started a petition to rename Woodrow Wilson Elementary School in Kannapolis. The student claims the namesake is racist and a symbol of white supremacy that should be another push to change the name of a Charlotte area school. Mecklenburg Schools started the process of renaming Vance High School to rename Woodrow Wilson Elementary School in Kannapolis. And student claims the namesake is racist. WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper joins us live tonight with more on that team's aspirations. At the same time, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools started the process of renaming Vance High School. That school named after Zebulon
this is a look
B.
at that
Vance, an
passionate
officer in
plea
the
from
Confederate
junior
military. WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper joins us live tonight with more on that team's aspirations and the changes he hopes to see. Brianna?
Yeah, Fred, this is a look at that passionate plea from junior Brock Morgan as he describes why Woodrow Wilson Elementary School here in Kannapolis should be renamed. Now, in this note, he highlights certain words in bold red font like segregation, KKK, and white supremacy, all ideas, he says, were negatively associated with Woodrow Wilson. Over the past few weeks, the calls for change have been loud and clear. From Black Lives Matter protests to NASCAR banning Confederate flags at races and even Confederate statues being removed. It's all a movement 15-year-old Brock Morgan says he wanted to be a part of.
How everything is changing. That's what inspired me to do this.
Creating a petition to rename Woodrow Wilson Elementary School. And so far, he's gotten over 600 signatures of support.
The continuation of eroding white supremacy from our society is really something that we should all be a part of.
Brock claims Woodrow Wilson, the 28th president of the United States, is a symbol of that white supremacy, a statement he backs up with facts.
And I tried to make it an ironclad argument, so there really wasn't a lot of holes in it.
In a written letter, Brock details Wilson's support of the KKK and his attempts to defend the South's suppression of black voters. Brock says as these wrongs in history, he now hopes to make right.
We truly are our ancestors' wildest dreams. You're standing on the backs of people who have suffered throughout slavery, people who have suffered throughout the Jim Crow era.
In replacement of Woodrow Wilson, Brock is asking the school's name be changed to Martin Luther King Jr. instead.
Changing the name from a racist to someone who was an activist and promoting equality, not only would that be a good step forward.
And he's also gotten the support of his father as well.
And I'm extremely proud of him. And he's always has aspirations of becoming the next president.
In addition to the name change, Brock also hopes to see changes to the school's curriculum as well. He hopes to see students educated more about leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and many others. And Brock tells me he's also gotten plenty of encouragement from his teachers and counselors. Now, I reached out to Kannapolis City Schools, and they tell me that ultimately, in order to have the school's name changed, that decision would be up to the Board of Education. I'm told that the board is aware of Brock's petition, and there's a chance they may discuss it in the future. Reporting live tonight in Kannapolis, Brianna Harper, WCNC, Charlotte.
All right. That was amazing. Sorry about the video messed up at the beginning, but that is a student here in our school district right now who are making changes. So that means you can still be a part of this movement and help be more aware of the things going on in our world. So to close out our lesson for today, I wanted to go back over and say, show our schools. So see how there is no school named here that you just learned about? Do you see? Let's see, do you see Woodrow Wilson on this list anymore? Okay, that's because now it is North Kannapolis Elementary School. And the student, Brock Morgan, he changed that because of his beliefs and his ability to stand up for what he believed in. That's amazing. So we wanted to close out the lesson today. Who started a petition to change the name of Woodrow Wilson Elementary School? It was a student we just learned about. His name was Brock Morgan. And remember, he's one of our teachers' students. Teachers' children, I mean. The last thing, in Kannapolis, before 1967, did schools used to be separated from African American students and white students? And if you said yes, you are correct. This is true. I hope that you enjoyed learning about a local person in our community who is changing history. And I hope you became more aware of how it used to be.